Could design your baby's features, would you? According to LA's Fertility Institute, prospective parents can select eye color, hair color, and more. The technology is called pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, or PGD. It was created to screen for disease, then used for gender selection. Now this clinic plans to allow parents to select physical traits.
I would predict that by next year we will have determined sex with 100% certainty on a baby, and we will have determined eye color with about an 80% accuracy rate.
A single cycle of in vitro fertilization can cost around $9,000. Most parents choose to pay for a few rounds to make sure they have found any disorders or diseases that could come about with their child. If parents are looking for specific traits, they may need a third party, such as an egg donor or sperm donor, to be able to extract the trait and insert it into the modified DNA of their child to be. The cost of paying for an egg from a donor can cost around $15,000. If choosing gender along with the egg donor, this will cost around $30,000. Otherwise, if only selecting gender alone without a third party, this will cost around $17,000. The cost of extracting the gene from a disorder, disease, or disability is not a set amount. It can range from $5,000 to $100,000, depending on how many genes are extracted and replaced.
A medical breakthrough this morning has the potential to affect millions of future lives. Researchers say for the first time they have mapped the genetic code of a fetus using a blood sample and saliva from the parents.
This approach could soon be used to diagnose more than 3,000 genetic disorders before a baby is born. However, it also could lead to moral and ethical dilemmas. Okay, let's understand the significance of this. One, it's non-invasive.
Correct.
Two, it will give you, as an expectant parent, a possibility to know genetic disorders that your child might have.
On a very grand scale. So, before this discovery, genetic testing occurs all the time. Newborn screening occurs all the time, but in a very focused way. What this technology is giving us now for the first time, good proof of concept, is a very broad look at the whole range of diseases that can befall unborn children.
But are we moving towards a time in which parents are going to try to design the perfect child, and make all kinds of selections based on gender and other things that have nothing to do with health?
Again, I think that's a real risk, and I think the way we can overcome that kind of risk is to educate not just the general population, the legislature, on what's coming and what kinds of policies are we going to have to put in place to prevent this sort of extreme designer baby mentality.
Are we looking at the necessity of new laws by government?
I think there's a potential for new laws.
We believe that designing your baby can be taken too far. Choosing specific traits such as physical appearance and their mental state should not be allowed. Choosing the sex of your baby and screening for possible diseases or abnormalities and being able to change that would be as far as we believe it should go. A complete ban of this will increase the demand and send people to unauthorized biologists that are overseas to receive the same treatment that the U.S. is capable of.
Genetic editing allows the parent to give their child a healthier life. The process before designing your baby will catch any inherited medical conditions and/or possible future diseases, and could increase lifespan by 15 or more years. This could decrease the chances of getting Alzheimer's, spinal muscular atrophy, and the risk of inheriting obesity, anemia, diabetes, cancer, and many more.
If parents would be able to choose whatever they would like, diversity between us would possibly decrease throughout time. New social classes would form between designer children and non-designer children. It also is not cheap, so it would cause prejudice between these social classes. Babies cannot consent to have their bodies altered, therefore some do not believe that it is right because of the parents not owning their children. And the possibilities of future lawsuits between child and parent could take place.
We contacted many different fertility doctors. Unfortunately, none would agree to speak on any opinions regarding gene editing. But we were able to contact Marilyn Van Horn, the vice president of Optum Healthcare, who referred us to a nurse who assists in IVF. She then gave us all the helpful information we needed to answer the following questions, but still prefers to remain anonymous due to the chances of possibly jeopardizing her career. According to the Society of Assisted Reproductive Technologies, the approximate chances of giving birth to a live baby after using IVF is as follows: 41 to 43% for all women under age of 35, 33 to 36% for women age 35 to 37, 23 to 27% for women ages 38 to 40, and 13 to 18% for women age 41 and over. Yes, there is a risk of multiple pregnancies when more than one embryo is placed into the womb. Carrying more than one baby at a time increases the risk of premature birth and low birth weight. However, in every single baby born after IVF, there is a higher risk of prematurely being born and low birth weight. Depending on the laws where you receive treatment and if you already have children, some clinics let you choose. But there are requirements for most. Your first child, you do not get to choose. Second, you only get to ask for the opposite sex of your first child. Your third, and so on, it is up to the parents to decide.
The time to start this discussion is right now. For example, I don't think you should get any of these traits offered to you without some counseling. So you can think about, well, is this that important to me? Is this really going to make that much difference? You don't want to saddle children with false expectations. The parents pick a kid to be smart, the kid doesn't succeed, now they're mad because they spent a lot of money to do this, they don't get what they want. Is this just a cash business where you'd say, you know, I want a child with short arms, I want a kid with athletic ability? Yeah, okay, well, we'll do that. Is everything and anything for sale at the fertility clinic? We need more oversight of this industry, and I think this is going to turn out to be one of the biggest issues in the next 10, 15 years, the extent to which we design our babies and who's going to be able to call the shots, if you will, on whether the technology gets used to do it.